So Justin,
Yes.
I'm here because of you. I'm doing these interviews, talking to
because of
people
you.
about voting, why it's important to vote, asking tough questions from people I've heard that people like me is like, I've been betrayed by the vote, right?
Yeah.
So why did you decide on this kind of initiative? What inspired you?
You know, I can't get away from this feeling that 2020 is just like this big cartoon of our life, like reflecting back on us, right? Like, hindsight is 2020. Like, oh, really? Everything's going to start burning, and we're going to have a pandemic, and we're going to have this very divided population and stuff. 2020, it's allowing for so much reflection. There's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of death and sorrow, and so many terrible things happening. And if you're not immediately touched by that, there's a lot of reflection, a lot of like looking right at it over and over again every single day. But it just sort of struck me, it's like the voting, this is the only way we can actually talk to each other. Mm-hmm. This is like where you just tally up what everyone is thinking.
Growing up, even like college and high school, I had friends who disagreed with, right, politically.
Yeah.
But we didn't hate each other, right? I feel like the conversation is not even conversation anymore. How do you think we got here?
There's like the capital T, capital O, the other, you know, not my friend, not my family, not my uncle, not my grandmother, the other. Instead of like, oh, they're a person, they're somebody's daughter, they're somebody's mother. Obviously that's a problem. You're not continuing your human, normal empathy for somebody that you don't know. And you know, it'd be easy just to be like, it's the news, doing it. But like everything, there's so many variables, so it's so complicated. You push all those things, make a wedge, and if we don't fight against it, we're going to be where we're at, just kind of iced out in our little thing. And that's another reason why I wanted to come and be one small part of the conversation blossoming.
One of the things that I've asked in these interviews is that a lot of people are saying, go vote, it's important to have your voices heard. And a big thing in Milwaukee, the black community, last of the data says the black community did not show up to the polls, right? Because they felt betrayed. Like, why? Like, I voted in every election, my neighborhood's still the same, still violent, the roads are still bad, my schools are still bad, I vote in every election, and people come into them like, you need to vote, you need to vote. What do you say to that? How do you talk to people like that?
The powers that be, the structure, the way it's set up, the literal foundation that it was built on, isn't built for everybody in the same way, and the same biases that end up benefiting a certain part of your city they're just not gonna do it if the same looking people are in the offices pushing the paper and making things happen. It's not gonna flow down because that's how people are. We have these little biases in our little drains of empathy that we just sort of make it easy to forget. I don't know what to tell people. You know, it's like you don't really want to tell someone and like say something. It's just, I just want people to be able to understand that there is a chance. I get accused sometimes of being kind of radically optimistic. You know, you look back 2,000 years, you look back 200 years, things are getting better. But the only way it gets better is if you push back against that sort of basic biased system.
The civil rights movement, I learned, protest is one arm, right? Boycotts was another arm. But getting civically engaged was the other arm to push actual action. And I think a lot of people forgot that. They look at the protests, which is strong, it's a great message, but they forget about the other elements in play. If you care about qualified immunity, for say, look who's your district attorney. Who's running? I bet you the average person doesn't even know who the district attorney is here, and I think it's Chisholm. But every election I've seen him, he runs unopposed. Right? There's a lot of, like the latest ballots I've seen, have been a lot of unopposed positions.
We have an unopposed DA in Eau Claire too. Like, I don't even know what their policies are, you know? And I think it's about disseminating information, being informed, and pledging to be a part of that change. And it's, voting is the top, and then there's this whole structure
mechanism.
behind it.
Thanksgiving's coming up. And conversation during Thanksgiving, depends on your family. Do you have any advice for people to have civil conversations and have good food at the same time?
Man, the advice is like, if you love your family, then talk to them like you love them. I think you can listen and let people talk. If you feel like you've thought about it more than them, give them a chance to talk their thoughts through, and then calmly share your feelings. You don't have to share your feelings like you're on the debate. You know what I mean? You don't have to win.
Oh, yeah.
There's no winning. There's no winning. It's like we're all in this, and feel thankful, and in that thankfulness, try to diminish that anger.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Tarik. This
Appreciate
is
it.
great.